Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I welcome Minister Hayward and our panel guests, our community members here tonight, as well as our viewers who are tuning in and watching online. I want to welcome you to our Town Hall community engagement to discuss Bermuda's youth employment strategy. Our presentation this evening will use PowerPoint, which can be followed on the projectors located above the stage to the right and left. We will begin with the Minister of Economy and Labor, Mr. Jason Hayward, followed by the Department of Workforce Development Director, Ms. Malika Cartwright, and then the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation Executive Director, Ms. Erika Smith. After they finish their presentations, we will open the floor for questions. We have 2 microphones located to your right and left. In order for everyone to have the opportunity to ask their questions, we want you to limit yourself to 1 question and give yourself 2 minutes per question. If you have additional questions, my colleagues, Honey and Tarai, will give you cue cards that you can write down your questions and they will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Also, as we are here to discuss Bermuda's youth employment strategy, we ask that you keep your questions on topic. At this time, I want to also ask you to take a moment to put your phones on vibrate or on silent, please. And now on to masks. They can be removed while seating, but if you're going to be walking around or in close proximity to others, we suggest wearing a mask. We have allocated 90 minutes for this evening's sessions, and I invite Minister Hayward to begin. Minister?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out to hear more about the Bermuda government's youth employment strategy. Just to give a little bit of background, youth unemployment has been a challenge in Bermuda for some decades. This is not a new problem. However, since the pandemic, this problem has become worse. And so if we look at the youth unemployment numbers in Bermuda between the period around 2019, we were averaging under 25%. However, the youth unemployment number as of November 2020 is now at 32.1%. That is an unacceptable level for any community. And so it means that we had to put a dedicated strategy in place to ensure that we overcome this challenge that our community is facing. The aim of this particular strategy is targeted to young people in education, young persons who may be underemployed, young persons who may be unemployed, vulnerable youth, and then youth requiring additional support. The strategy aims to target those individuals between the ages of 18 and 24 years old. Doing our research in terms of some of the factors that have led to this high unemployment rate for young persons, we recognized that there were a lack of job opportunities for young people. There was a lack of experience required by employers, limited access to resources, lack of opportunities for less experienced job seekers, career choice uncertainty, misalignment of qualifications and skills required in the current job market. That's not the complete list of reasons why persons fall within that category. But those were the main contributing factors. Our goal is to provide a comprehensive strategy to support Bermuda's youth and to create pathways to employment opportunities. To achieve this goal, we will facilitate access to training and employment opportunities for Bermuda's youth, provide career guidance and resources, support access to work experience opportunities such as internships, traineeships, and apprenticeships, motivate youth to develop to the highest level of proficiency in their chosen career field, ensure that qualified and competent young people are provided with development, mentoring, coaching, and growth to support promotion within their chosen careers, and remove entry-level barriers for young persons seeking employment. The strategy consists of 9 goals and a number of strategic initiatives. Those 9 goals and strategic initiatives will formulate the core of the action plan that will be carried out by the Department of Workforce Development, the Ministry of Economy and Labor, and our partner stakeholder organizations such as the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation. Goal number 1 is to increase local training opportunities and promote pathways to securing employment. We want to ensure that our young persons are suitably qualified and positioned to take advantages of opportunities that exist within our local job market. Young job seekers may not be fully aware of how their skills, goals, and interests align with the full spectrum of career options that exist within our community. By expanding the catalog of local training opportunities available in Bermuda, young professionals will have an opportunity to refine their soft skills, undergo specialized occupational training, earn a salary while gaining relevant experience in their desired career fields, improve employability, receive recognized qualifications, and gain access to targeted support and expertise. The strategic initiative underneath this goal is for us collectively to review labor market data and ensure training opportunities are in alignment with current and future demand. Collectively in our community, we continue to see training and development opportunities that are not directly in alignment with the demand in our community, nor the future demand in terms of jobs of the future. And so we have to ensure that there is an alignment between the training that our young persons are receiving and then the outcomes that they would like to see after that training, which is employability. The other strategic initiative is to ensure that we engage in partnerships with government and non-governmental organizations to validate training programs and fill identified gaps across high-demand occupations. We cannot continue to train our young persons for those persons to finish training programs that we put on, but those training programs are not supported by industry and still leave persons outside or locked out of the job market. And so we'll do a better job at validating the training programs that we have. Part of that is ensuring that we have adequate employer engagement so that on the front end of the training program we get the buy-in rather than the back end of the training program. There are high demand occupations in Bermuda. I'll just name a few: accounting, underwriting, actuarial, software engineers, chefs, masons, teachers, healthcare workers, social workers, electrical, water supply and waste management, information technology, and communication professionals. And so the training that we will be supporting will be in alignment with the areas that are actually in demand. That's not to say we cannot put on ad hoc training for specialized occupational categories, but our concerted effort will be in those areas where there is the greatest amount of demand for local talent. And so we will work diligently with external organizations to identify where the demand lies and then work with those organizations to put those training programs in place. Goal number 2 is to expand career support services for young people from high school through to early employment. The Department of Workforce Development and the Bermuda government over the years has done an excellent job with connecting young persons to job opportunities. However, when we look at the data in terms of retention, we continue to struggle with retention. And that's because there is a gap in terms of the employability skills that some of our young people may have. When we talk about employability skills, we have some excellent young professionals. And so I don't want to generalize against that entire demographic category. We have persons that are exceptional in the workplace, but we also have to accept the reality that others need additional support. Time and time again, we recommend and refer persons to job opportunities. Those persons get employed, and those persons don't remain gainfully employed. We recognize that there is a gap, and so we're trying to fill that gap. We want to ensure that persons have workplace readiness training, that they receive career counseling, job application support and services, and resume writing and review. Many parents are still filling out job applications for the young ones, as well as attempting to continue to advocate for the young one directly with employers. We need to empower our young persons so that they have that ability. That is not the responsibility of their parents. And so if we identify that as a gap, we need to put a strategy in place to close that gap. And so Strategic Initiative 3 is specifically designed to ensure that those support services are provided, those workplace readiness services. We want to ensure that persons develop their brand, persons are cognizant of emotional intelligence and communication skills, diversity and inclusion, office etiquette, resolving conflicts in the workplace, building resumes and cover letters, employability certifications, personal development, setting SMART goals, and the creation of career pathways. We need to create that bridge where persons understand that entry-level jobs put them on a pathway to future occupational category and employment in other areas. And so we'll map out those particular career pathways so that individuals are clear on the journey that they need to embark on to be successful in a certain occupational category. But we need to ensure that career guidance is available to young people from high school through to early employment. Ensure that information is procured and readily accessible for young persons. And so we'll do a better job at putting out relevant labor market information. The Department of Statistics releases the data, but that data does not get to the hands of our young persons. It does not get in the hands of the parents, or not always necessarily in the hands of their career counselors who are providing those individuals advice about their careers. The earlier we can get that information to individuals, the better prepared they are to make educational decisions as well as career decisions. So professional guidance on career pathways and education streams. You will see for every major occupational group in Bermuda, we aim to have a document produced which clearly outlines what is the requirements of that particular job, the years of experience, the education, and we will have a pipeline designed where persons know from high school, here's the steps I need to take, and then you would have indicators on that pipeline which shows that here's the support you can get from the government, here's the external support, here's the support that Bermuda College provides, so that persons know the exact steps that they need to take to be successful on their journey. And it needs to come from informed individuals, individuals that know specifically about that particular occupational category. And here's where the work with industry is extremely important, so that we can bridge that gap in terms of the information. Also creating forums to submit general questions and information sharing. And then encourage other industry-specific events, networking events, career fairs, and information sessions. And so you'll see more of that moving forward over the next year. I was speaking with an employer today about the importance of networking. Networking is one of the leading ways in which persons get access to opportunities. It's just a reality. It's not just a reality in Bermuda, but it's a reality worldwide. And unfortunately, some of our young persons are locked out of certain networks. And so we need to create that bridge. Part of creating that bridge will be through internship programs where persons can go into the workplace and share their value. But part of that is also us facilitating networking events where potential employers and our young persons can get together in a more informal settings so that they can build some sort of relationship, and then creates opportunities where that person can share the value that they can provide in the workplace. Goal number 3, support and promote science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. That is actually our future. That is where the demand is coming from. But that is also our present. There are a number of occupational categories that have heavy demand for local talent where they're unable to get that talent in these particular areas, whether it's science and healthcare professions, or whether it's even science to do with biology and marine professions. Technology in particular, as we start to talk about computers, fintech being specific career options, insurtech being career options, but also technology within our local companies. We don't have data analysts at the rate we should. We don't have computer engineers in Bermuda, and we struggle with IT professionals at the software development level. A lot of individuals go away to school and they get involved with networking. And so they can do the troubleshooting on your computer and they can maintain a network. But there's more soft technology jobs. We lack that skill set. And we need to ensure that it's embedded within our educational curriculum, but also that persons are cognizant of the occupational categories that are in line with certain levels of education. And I hear from employers that persons come back with IT degrees and believe that that would land them a job in certain occupational categories, and they started the wrong thing. Engineering is extremely important. All forms of art is important. That's how we preserve our culture, but also continue to develop our cultural identity, is through the arts. And arts, it is inclusive of media as well. Journalism, creative writing. And mathematics goes without any explanation. There are a number of career or occupational categories where the strongest competency that you require is mathematics, whether it be accounting, actuarial, science, being an underwriter, being a data scientist, being a business analyst, quantitative finance jobs, jobs within our financial intermediation sector, insurance jobs. And so it's important that we continue to promote those particular competencies: science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And we will ensure that persons that are running training programs in that particular area, we support those training programs, and then we also facilitate the expansion of those training programs as well. Goal number 4 is to expand apprenticeship and internship opportunities. We need to do a better job at connecting young persons with employers. Apprenticeships are an awesome opportunity for persons to get hands-on training while also um, continuing their educational journey. If you speak with a number of individuals who are in trades and technical jobs in generations above mine, most of them came through formal apprenticeship programs. We have the capacity to expand apprenticeship programs, and we will work to expand apprenticeship programs. But internships also are equally important. The Department of Workforce Development ran 2 cohorts of a graduate training program, which is ultimately an internship program. That program connected graduates with potential employers and put those persons in play employment opportunities for a limited period of time. But those persons were able to go into the workplace and actually share with employers the value that they can actually provide to those companies. And I'm pleased with the level of retention that we've seen coming out of that program. And we'll continue to run that program because that's a way of networking as well. Getting persons in front of opportunities that they would not have had if we didn't specifically run those programs. Most times, internships are limited to summer employment with no intention of hiring. But ours is more deliberate in terms of persons having the opportunity to provide services to employers, show their value, and we've seen that that has been embraced by a number of employers who determined that they want to retain those individuals. And so that is extremely positive. We want to work to expand that across both the public and private sector. And in the public sector, we have to do a better job as well. Goal number 5 is improve public access to relevant labor market information and career opportunities. So again, we need to do a better job at broadcasting relevant labor market data in a clear, digestible format to the public through marketing ads, social media, employment agencies, and other communications. Better utilize the job board and ensure that the Department of Workforce Development has a first-class website where a person can go for all relevant labor market information. It is important that we do that level of expansion of the way in which persons can get access to data so that persons are making adequate and are empowered to make adequate decisions about their careers and are cognizant of the opportunities that exist within our community. And in this rapidly changing environment, it is important that they are presented with timely data. One may go off to school on a 6-year journey with the intention of coming out of school and going into one occupational category, but the industry that they wanted to go in or the occupational category may have shifted or become obsolete. And they should know that as soon as possible, that the industry that they were planning to go in has shifted its approach, that a number of jobs that were once on island are shifted off island or have been replaced with technology. And so we want to ensure that persons have all the relevant information to make informed decisions. Not just individuals, but we need to do a better job at arming and informing parents who advise the kids of the relevant information so that they're making proper collective decisions as a family. Goal number 6 is to support and promote youth entrepreneurship. We would have the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation who will speak about that particular initiative and the work they're doing around youth entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship is important. Not everybody desires to be an employee. Some persons desire to be entrepreneurs, run their own business, and we've seen where a number of young persons have developed that entrepreneur knack. but what they need is the necessary support. We run a number of incubators now, and that is the number one thing that actually supports developing and budding new businesses. I've done a tour of the East Coast of the United States, and we looked at workforce development agencies. We also were able to look at community colleges and the role they play in connecting persons with jobs. But we took a look at a number of incubators as well. And the success rate of those businesses that went through incubators was much higher than the success rates for businesses that did not go through the incubator. And that's because the incubator provides the necessary support and guidance so that persons can build a proper foundation for their businesses. So I'll allow the Executive Director of BEDC, when she gives her presentation, to elaborate on that. Goal number 7 is promote support for vulnerable youth. We did have a title called At-Risk Youth, and through consultation, we removed that title because it wasn't deemed to be appropriate. So then we came up with vulnerable youth, and our young persons also told us that that's not appropriate. But what I've done is I struggled with an alternative title for that particular goal, because it almost seems as though we've categorized a group of persons already. But what we have identified in the community, that there are pools of individuals that need additional support. And that is the aim of this particular goal. Not everybody's going to walk into the doors of workforce development for help. We know that we have young persons who are exposed to gang violence. We have young persons with disabilities. We have young people who are aging out of residential care facilities. We have young mothers. We have early school leavers. All we're saying is we've identified these individuals may require additional support services, and we're prepared to provide those support services, whether it be job search services, providing support in terms of interview skills and coaching, resume development, providing computer literacy courses, positive ways to communicate in a workplace. Persons may need additional social services such as counseling and therapy service for whatever trauma that they have faced. And so we recognize for that particular goal, we have to go out, identify those individuals, and reach out to those individuals rather than waiting for those individuals to walk into our door. So the action plan around that particular goal will be to go out in the community, reach out to those persons who are flagged in our school system, or even flagged by police, that they need additional support, or they're trying to change their life and they need that support. We can't wait till those persons come to us. We'll try to reach out to those individuals and provide direct intervention and support. And I think that is an appropriate way to go about doing that. Goal number 8 is to revise policies to improve social protections for young persons. We want to facilitate an environment where our young persons can actually flourish, but we recognize that also there are social impediments to young persons flourishing, not just in the workplace, but in society as well. But when they get into society, we have to determine how we can best support them. And so part of this is to review both the labor legislation to ensure our legislation works for and supports our young persons, look at the financial assistance and determine whether or not we can provide additional financial assistance and support to our young persons as some type of social protection form. Look at the wages that are provided in certain occupational categories to see if they can be increased, because what we find is that persons are not going into job categories where the wage is certainly not attractive for anybody, Bermudians in general, but especially for our young persons. And so we want to ensure that we improve that. But that particular goal is fluid, which means as we identify ways in which we can support our young persons, we should do so prior to them making the decision that Bermuda is not for them and them going overseas and determining that they want to start a life in a different jurisdiction. Goal number 9 is to facilitate the repatriation of young Bermudians. We don't want to see a talent drain or brain drain. We can't afford it as a society. We can't afford our young persons continue to leave the island and not coming back home. And so we will look to seek what strategies work best to support our young persons when they finish tertiary education to return home. Those persons who have left Bermuda because they feel as though the living conditions is not suitable or conducive to them, we have to work to see what we can do to reduce the amount of stress that they will face within our society. But I think it's a concerted effort from the government to let young persons know as well that we value them and that we want to put strategies in place to assist them with their journey in Bermuda, and so that they're not making the choice to go overseas and create a life when that life could be created in Bermuda. Do we have all the answers as it pertains to that particular goal? No. Are we committed to continual engagement with our young persons so that we can find the solutions that are suitable for them? Yes. And so this strategy is a fluid strategy. We will continue the level of engagement. We will continue to build our action plans. The action plans will be directly in alignment with the goals and initiatives. We will continue to put funding in this particular area so that we don't have action plans that are in place that don't have the necessary resources so that we can get effective outcomes. So those were the 9 goals. Those goals are specifically designed to put young persons in a better place when it comes to preparing them for employment, connecting them directly with employment, and then also we recognize that there are underemployed young persons where there are ceilings in certain workplaces, and continue to advocate and try to remove those barriers as much as we possibly can. I'll now hand it over to Director of Workforce Development.
Thank you, Minister. Good evening, everyone. My name is Malika Cartwright, and I'm the new Director of Workforce Development. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of workforce development and what you can expect either for your young person, that is for young people who are coming in, but also for anyone who comes into workforce development. Our department is made up of 3 sections, which is administration, career development, and also our training section. So I just wanted to make that distinction for people, because not many people knew that there are 3 different sections for workforce development. Could I have the next slide, please? So as you can see from the screen, our mission at Workforce Development is to develop a resilient workforce and to provide a sustainable and stable community. So we are there for workforce readiness at Workforce Development. We do have 5 objectives for this year, but the 2 that are on the screen are specific to our young people for this evening. So to create our youth employment strategy, which we have created, but we're also now working on engagement and also, as the minister said, putting those action plans in place. And we're looking to also strengthen our partnerships that facilitate industry-driven training and development program initiatives. So for all those employers who are out there, please contact the Department of Workforce Development, because we would love to work with you to expand on the programs and the trainings that we currently have at Workforce Development. I want people to know that Workforce Development is an advocate for our clients. However, we are not an employment agency. Some people who come into Workforce Development believe that we're an employment agency, and that is not who we are. We are advocates and support for persons who are looking for career changes, to enter the workforce, who need support in looking for employment and looking for the support service to get them back into the workforce or to enter the workforce for the first time. I also want to clear up a misconception that people have had, and I know because I've received the phone calls. We love that people have registered on the job board, and we want you to continue to do so. However, I want everyone to understand that once you register on the job board, it does not mean that you automatically have become a client of the Department of Workforce Development. That puts your profile for you to apply for jobs that are through the job board, but it does not give you a career development officer and inform us of where you're trying to go and the journey that you would like to go on. We want to actually see you to come into workforce development and talk to us about what your goals are so that we can help and support you with that. Next slide, please. Of a workforce development client. This is very short and sweet for our purposes this evening, but when you come into the Department of Workforce Development, you'll be greeted by someone in our customer service team, and then you will be transferred over to an intake officer who will sit down and talk to you about what you get all of your pertinent information, and they will also be the ones who are career development officer and make an appointment for you with that career development officer. Once you see your career development officer, that is when the real work and partnership starts at workforce development, because at that stage is when we start to work on your resume, your interviewing skills, your soft skills, all of the things that you need, the coaching that takes place for you and giving you the guidance that you need on whichever career pathway that you would like to go on. There's also assessments that we do at workforce development. So we can have you assessed through our team there so that you can see sort of where you fit. What is it that you'd like to do? Sometimes people think, oh, I want to do this, but then they get into it and they're like, maybe not that. So it's great to know for yourselves where you kind of fit in and how we can help you to start going down that journey. I started out as a computer science major and ended up with a marketing degree. So you can change, and at 18 to 24, you're definitely going to change your mind a couple of times, but just know that the team at Workforce Development is there to support you as you make those changes, as you start to discover where you'd like to go. We're there to help support you with that. In addition, our training section is there to assist with internships, externships, apprenticeships. Some people love working with their hands, and we want to make sure that those individuals also have the opportunities that they need as well. So our training section, our excellent training section team, the whole team at Workforce Development is amazing, but our training section team work very hard to ensure that persons who are interested in trades and other career options get the apprenticeships that they need. So again, I'm calling out again, lawyers and tradesmen who want to pass on their skill sets and their trades to a young person, please contact us at Workforce Development so that we can match you with an apprentice that can come in and work with you and learn the trade. Finally, once you've gone through all of your training, career development, employers do come to us for referrals. So once we have all of your information, we can start to refer you out to employers for referrals. So we want to make sure that your journey is a great one and that you feel supported when you come into workforce. We're there to help coach and guide, but it is a true partnership between us and the public. We want to make sure that you know that you have to do work, and we're going to be held accountable for the work that we have to do as well to help support you in your journey. So for the youth employment strategy, we have a few programs that are already up and running. We will be adding some more programs later on. But as of right now, we have our summer internship program and our summer employment programs, which are happening right now. The summer internship program is for high school students, and this gives them exposure to the workforce and potential career pathways. So this is what we're talking about, ensuring that young people receive exposure early and learn about careers that are available to them at an early age. Not only that, the exposure to the workforce exposes them to workplace etiquette and the different things that they have to do once they become employed. The summer employment program is for our college students, and this provides current college and university students with employment opportunities during their summer break. During their placement, students are given projects and meaningful work that exposes them to potential entry-level employment. And I'm an advocate for employers to give summer interns meaningful work. It does not make sense to have someone come in to an internship and all they're doing is shredding paper for 3 months. They need to be given projects and real work to do so that you can actually assess what they're capable of, because these young people have a lot of different skill sets and talents that could be hidden by having them in a file room for the whole summer. As the minister mentioned, we had 2 cohorts of our graduate trainee program. This is for recent university and college students. They were given opportunities in entry-level employment opportunities, and they gained valuable workplace experience during that time. And this helped them to add to their resume and also gave them some skills. Sometimes people will say, you don't have experience. This helped to give those young people the experience that they needed, and we still have a really good retention. As the minister said, a lot of those young people have been retained by the employers that they went into those opportunities with. So we also have a new workplace soft skills online for our clients. It's called Bring Your A Game. Now, for this age group, 18 to 24, I recognize, and we recognize at Workforce Development, that if they were at either Berkeley or City Bridge, they did receive City and Guilds employment skills. This actually builds on that and gives some additional tools and information about working in the workplace. So this is like that next level of soft skills, and it's an excellent program. It's self-paced. However, our officers in workforce development are there to assist persons as they're going through the program. And last, we have apprenticeships. These are structured employment-based training programs, and they're typically 2 to 5 years in duration, and it leads to the apprentice becoming fully qualified in their chosen occupation, and it also allows persons to achieve vocational work-based qualifications. You learn on the job, build knowledge and skills, gain qualifications necessary for registration in the occupation, and earn a wage while receiving their structured training. And the department is aiming to increase opportunities for young people who are interested in learning through this medium, because most people now, they want to get certification, they want to, 4-year college and university is not for everyone. And a lot of people would like to find different ways to learn a skill and be able to be gainfully employed, and apprenticeships is one of those great ways that you can do that. So I am imploring you, if you are struggling and need support to find employment, and you want to know how you can prepare for an interview, have someone look at your resume, please come and see us at the Department of Workforce Development. We are here to assist and support and work with you so that you can realize your goal of becoming employed. Thank you. And now I'm going to hand it over to Executive Director Erika Smith from the BEDC.
Thank you, Malika. Thank you, Minister. So I am very excited to be here tonight. As indicated, I'm Erika Smith. I'm the Executive Director of Bermuda Economic Development Corporation. We were established in 1980, a partnership between the Bermuda government and the local banks. And essentially, our role is to provide advice and support to Bermuda's local small and medium-sized businesses to help to really grow a thriving, prosperous, well-managed local business sector in Bermuda. It's important to note that our focus is on local businesses. Small businesses are the lifeblood of any economy, and we believe that that is true in Bermuda. And so while there may be other agencies that are focused on foreign businesses and foreign companies coming to Bermuda, we really are here to build the base to build great local, small, and medium-sized Bermuda businesses. We provide advice and support, and so that advice can range the gamut from business advice marketing advice, HR advice on how to start a business, how to scale your business, how to grow it, and even to exit that business. And from a support perspective of financial assistance, we provide direct funding ourselves to businesses, and then we also guarantee funding with our local financial institutions. So a range of products and services all aimed at growing our local business sector. These next two slides are really just going to focus on who do we serve. So first and foremost, small businesses. This has been the lifeblood of BEDC from its, from when we launched in 1980. And so there are two criteria that define, in the context of Bermuda, what a small business is. It's either a business that has an annual gross payroll less than $500,000 per year, or an annual sales revenue of no more than $1 million. And we have thousands of businesses in Bermuda that meet one of those criteria. So from a local perspective, we see a lot of small businesses that are operating here. But we also want to see small businesses grow into that next stage of medium-sized businesses. And so in 2011, we extended our remit and our expansion to focus also on medium-sized businesses. And so medium businesses are Bermudian owned and operated, but they must have at least 3 of these characteristics or attributes. So they'll have a gross annual revenue over $1 million, but no more than $5 million. They would have a payroll between $500,000 and $2.5 million. At minimum, they should have 11 employees, but no more than 50. In operation for a minimum of 10 years, or net assets less than $2.5 million. All that to say that if you meet any of these 3 of these 5 criteria, you would be classified in the context of Bermuda as a medium-sized business. Part of the work that we do is to help businesses to scale, right? You may start as a sole proprietor, a one-person operation, and over time, you may have a goal to scale your business beyond yourself, to bring on employees, to bring on other contracts, other revenue streams, and hopefully, we can see many of our businesses growing to be medium-sized and even larger, especially if they scale beyond Bermuda shores. This next slide is how do we help people become entrepreneurs, or those that have businesses, how do we help them to scale their businesses? And so we provide a wide variety of products and services, as I said, general business and technical advice. We also provide, or have been providing over the last 2 years, specific relief programs for businesses that have been impacted by the COVID-19 global pandemic. We provide direct loans and microloans. We guarantee larger types of financing requests. So if a entrepreneur, a business owner, or a would-be entrepreneur does not have sufficient collateral, they can come to BEDC, apply to us, and we will guarantee that financing that they get from any one of those financial institutions. And in fact, we also expanded that partnership to include the Bermuda Credit Union. So if you want to get financing from them as a member for business, you can apply to us for a guarantee, and we will support that endeavor. It's not just about providing financing and advice. We also believe that entrepreneurs need to skill up, right? They need to become great at being entrepreneurs. And so we provide workshops and seminars, events. We also facilitate intensive support around our economic empowerment zones, and we have 3 of them. We're sitting in one right now in Northeast Hamilton. We have one in Somerset, and we have the other in St. George's. And we're currently working on expanding the EEZ, the Economic Empowerment Zone, within the city of Hamilton to the southeast portion of the city. We provide incentives and concessions to help entrepreneurs start up or to grow. So that could be payroll tax relief, as well as customs duty relief or incentives. We provide credit programs. So we have a partnership with customs with regard to retailers importing goods and deferring that duty until they can actually sell their product. We also facilitate what we call micro enterprise. And so someone may have an idea, but they want to be able to test it in the market. And so we facilitate that through a pretty active vendor license and vendor market program where we partner with organizations to create either vending markets, and we provide licensing for people who want to actually sell their wares through a vending type of scenario. And then we also believe that it's not just one-offs, but it's about how can we provide wraparound support to really great business ideas who may need a little bit more hands-on approach than just a business advisory meeting. And so we have an incubator and an accelerator program to help businesses get that intensive hands-on support for up to a year. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk about what we do to try to facilitate entrepreneurship in our young people. So first and foremost, we have had a historical competition around entrepreneurship called Rocket Pitch. And over the years, we have grown that competition to probably extend to now 7 categories, to be honest. So we have categories where entrepreneurs can pitch an idea on local solutions or tourism solutions or green businesses. But one of the things we said, well, could we do the same for young people? And so we launched in 2017 the Youth Pitch Competition, which essentially provides a forum for young people under the ages of 18 to pitch their business idea and receive financing, prize money to start their business, as well as wraparound startup support services. Through that, we have actually had 66 students compete and pitch their ideas, and some of those students have gone on to actually continue their business beyond the idea stage. So we're really, really excited about that. We normally hold that during our Global Entrepreneurship Week activities in November, but quite frankly, as we talk about expanding youth entrepreneurship and looking at entrepreneurship as a viable career choice for people, especially within the context of this youth employment strategy, we will be more than willing to work with others with regard to facilitating pitch competitions, not just in November, but throughout the year. In 2018, we said, okay, we need to take this beyond just a one-off pitch competition that happens on an annual basis, but what can we do to really help to facilitate youth entrepreneurship? And we kind of did a little bit of a steal from you guys at Workforce Development and said, okay, well, you have your summer employment program. So, for young people who apply, they get funding, they get paid to actually work with a business, and they learn and they provide their talent. But could we actually take that program and flip it where we actually have businesses, young people creating businesses over an 8-week period of time? They're actually out in the field running those businesses, and we guarantee the seed money and also a stipend for being involved every week. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they walk away with a viable business that could continue beyond the summertime. It's also looked at as a way for them to actually create their own revenue to actually pay for college. And so we're really excited about that program. It is 8 weeks. It focuses on young people between the ages of 16 and 23. But quite frankly, we have had some dynamic young people who have been 14 years old, who have outshined some of those that are 23-year-olds. So we will make some exceptions if there is a compelling business idea and we see a young person that is really in tune. They receive support, training, mentorship, but they also provide seed money to start that business. So if they need to purchase infrastructure, if they need to have a place to sell, if they need to have connections to networking and opportunities, we will do that for them. As I said, they get stipends for attending their weekly business meetings. And to date, we've had 43 young entrepreneurs actually build startup businesses, bring in tangible jobs to the market. So we're really excited about that. We currently have a cohort who will be starting on July 4th, going through to August the 29th. And right now, we max out at 15 young people. We do have some capacity. Team is going to tell me off afterwards, but really, if there are young people who want to start a business and raise money this summer for their own benefit to help them to go back to school, come and see us so we can probably get you into that program. So it's not just about BEDC, right? Because entrepreneurship can help within its own silos. So we do often partner with other programs and other organizations. And so we have partnerships with 2 organizations that really share with the public. One has been a long-standing partnership with the Youth Entrepreneurship Initiative of Bermuda, and I see Joe Mahoney here in the audience. And that's a fantastic program because it actually teaches entrepreneurship in a camp called Biz Camp, which happens not just in the summertime, but throughout the year. And the key thing about this is that it's free. So any young person can sign up for it and really go through the fundamentals of what it takes to start a business. We also have a partnership with the Ignite, which is an accelerator that started approximately 3 years ago. And they launched last year a program called the Young Adult Entrepreneurial Internship Program for young people between the ages of 18 and 25. And so that program focuses on partnering young people interested in entrepreneurship with existing businesses, and they internship with this, helping to provide services, input, and learning on what it actually takes to run a business as an entrepreneur. And then I just wanted to speak about a crossover program at BDC that we run. It isn't specifically focused on young entrepreneurs, but it does have a sway towards young people. So the minister spoke about incubators, and we are really bullish about incubator and accelerator programs because for entrepreneurs, sometimes they get intensive support in order to take them from ideation to actually starting a business and scaling it. So we have 2 programs that we feel are also aligned with youth entrepreneurship and that spirit of growing young people with this mindset of really entrepreneurship as a viable career choice. One is Enterprise Bermuda. It is an incubator program that we actually launched in 2018, and to date, 30 startups have gone through that program, bringing 80 jobs to market, 80 new jobs to market. We currently have selected our cohort 5, and we're excited because we are scaling up that program this year. We are moving from 8 entrepreneurs to 32 that we will incubate for 12 months within our startup hubs across the island. And we're excited because now we just don't have a startup hub in our main headquarters in Hamilton and on Church Street, but we've built startup hubs in Somerset, in St. George's, and in Northeast Hamilton. So we're really, really excited about the journey that these 32 startups will have over the next 12 months. And then I spoke already about Rocket Pitch, which is an island-wide business plan competition, giving emerging entrepreneurs a chance to submit a plan to launch an enterprise that provides products or services to both local and global and challenges of any type. And we hold that annually during Global Entrepreneurship Week, but we've had many, many young entrepreneurs pitch through that competition and then have turned around and taken that idea and built it out into a viable business idea. As I said, we now have 7 categories in Rocket Pitch: Pitch Pink, Pitch Town, Youth Pitch, Pitch Green, Pitch Tech, Pitch Co-op, and Pitch Food and Beverage, which was a new category partnership with Bacardi. So that just gives you a little insight into what BDC can provide and has been providing for young people. Really, at the end of the day, if you don't want to start a business, that's fine, but we think that anyone can benefit from an entrepreneurial mindset. That is the ability to see a problem and an opportunity and either solve that problem or grasp at that opportunity. And so through the programs, services, and products that we provide, we believe that we're making this impact to not just Bermuda, but our young people. I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Smith, Ms. Cartwright, and Mr. Hitchen. So we are about to enter the question part of this evening's event. I just remind you we're your left and right, and also keep your questions to one per person and 2 minutes for that question. And also, if you can, try your hardest to keep the topic on the youth employment strategy. Thank you very much, and I invite you to ask your questions.
Good evening, Minister Hayward, Ms. Cartwright, Ms. Smith. It's great to see you all here. My name is Joe Mahoney. I'm the founding director of the Youth Entrepreneurship Initiative, which Erika was kind enough to mention in our program. We've been running programs for youth 13 to 18 since our inception in 2002. We're a registered Bermuda charity. And in that time, we've given entrepreneurship certificates to over 1,200 young Bermudians. And these young people come in, they spend a week with us, average 35 to 40 hours, and go through the process of learning how to write a business plan around their own idea. So it's an experiential program that we offer. We also have given training certificates to Bermuda teachers from the middle school business essentials courses. We've been supporting curriculum in those programs since 2009. And we are very involved with the Senior Signature School Transformation Program. We're on the task force, and we're assisting them in creating an entrepreneurship infusion strategy that will run across all of the signatures. It'll be a 3-year window of time, and the hope is that we have, at the end of that, each young person having produced a business plan. I will put a pitch out there right now that I would love to have a business plan be a requirement for graduation. That would put Bermuda in a very unique situation in the globe for having that for high school. Global entrepreneurship levels around the world are very high. Bermuda is not alone in that. In fact, there are other jurisdictions in certain pockets in developed countries that have much higher unemployment statistics around youth. So I commend the Department of Economic Development for tackling this with this strategic plan to take a global problem and deal with it locally. So I am very impressed with the levels and the goals mentioned. There are a number of opportunities in Bermuda for young people to become involved with entrepreneurship initiatives, as Erika mentioned, and many of them are undersubscribed. So my question is, can the Department of Economic Development do more to promote these opportunities under goals 5 and 6?
Thank you for your comments. And certainly that's what we plan to do. We plan to leverage existing programs that are in place and work to see if they can be expanded, but also work to promote those programs so that we're channeling persons into those particular areas. And those are the partnerships that we're discussing. We're discussing having genuine partnerships so that persons that are within the workforce development system as a whole are all working in a synergistic way rather than competing resources and trying to take a share of the talent pool.
Thank you. We have another question to the left.
Good evening. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Aruna Dismont. I work with Transitional Community Services. We're about 1.5 years old. We're a nonprofit. We work with young adult men, ages 18 to 34. And we provide individualized support services that may be employability, skill building, counseling, group work, and advocacy is one of our largest wedges in our pie. I have more of a comment than a question. I think it's sometimes a little unfair to unload a big question that you may not have, come across or can't answer in the moment. First of all, thank you for the strategy and this whole forum. We can tell that it's been, you're trying to answer a lot of questions and a lot of issues, and we definitely appreciate that. It's very broad, and we look forward to actually experiencing it. And one of the things, I'm the program resource manager there, so one of the things in my job is to find out kind of what resources already exist for our men, because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We know Bermuda's full of resources, and the access is there, right? And so we've worked with people at BEDC, workforce development, with private entities, local businesses, small businesses, large businesses, all around resourcing our men and what they might need. And in terms of, I've read this in depth, and one of the things that I think you've touched on, but I'd like to speak more on, is one of the barriers that is kind of unseen and maybe more experiential as opposed to data-driven, at least for now. And we tend to work with young black men. We work with young men, but it's usually young black men who come in our doors. And one of the things they experience coming out of systems, whether it's Westgate, school, family system, whatever it might be, is that these systems don't really provide them with a soft space to land, essentially. A space where they're allowed to have a setback that's not a failure, have a setback that's not a discount or a discharge or making them feel ostracized or kind of disenfranchised. So a lot of our guys that we get, they know about BEDC, they know about workforce development, they know about whatever they received when they left where they left from, but they have experiences where they don't feel like they can trust the place that they're going to. And not to say that that's on anybody, blame, it's just the way things have gone. But advocacy is one of the largest things that we have to do every single day with our guys. We have what are called leadership coaches. They're men who work directly with our guys on the ground, and the biggest part of their job with having our guys keep jobs is advocate for them when they have setbacks, advocate for them when they don't have the reading comprehension to fill out an application, advocate for them when they don't know how to navigate job board, all of these kinds of things. And access is great, and there's a lot of amazing things happening, but that soft landing, that bridge, the gap between young men who come out of high school and they have to, pay their bills, they can't go to training, because they have to get a hustle because they're support the family now they're out of school, who come out of school without, now you're a man, you're 18 years old, you have to provide, you have to know what to do. And so they're trying to figure out transitioning, new freedom, autonomy, how do I do these things? And they go into a system that discounts them with their first failure or setback. And so that's one of the biggest barriers that we are seeing across the board, no matter who they are, where they come from, even if they've already experienced a beautiful resource. But they don't feel comfortable and they don't have a good relationship with the resource. So I just wanted to put that out there as hopefully something that you can incorporate into the strategy and into any entities you work with, whether it be governmental, private, Quengo, and the like. But thank you.
Thank you. Those are actually excellent comments, and I commend you for the work that you're doing, because it's certainly needed in our community. And that is what we're actually trying to achieve under Goal 7, where we promote support for vulnerable youth. When you've defined what the support may look like for specific individuals, and we identify that we have those gaps within the services we provide, certainly organizations like yours, or organizations we would love to partner with, so that we have the full gambit of support that our young persons need, so that they can become successful. It's important what you said in terms of us identifying that persons need continued advocacy as well. I just gave remarks yesterday to a bunch of innocent kids leaving primary school, moving to middle school. But as the person giving those remarks, that notwithstanding you're going to encourage all those persons to do the right thing and have positive outcomes, some of them are going to need additional support throughout their journey. And it's not just good enough just wishing people well on their journey, or letting people know that there will be challenges on their journey that they face, but also being there and providing the support that they need. And so that's what Goal 7 aims to accomplish, and I thank you for your comments.
Yes, please don't leave without exchanging. Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you for that question. Just want to remind everyone this is an opportunity right now to come forward, ask your questions that you may not be sure about and clear on. So I encourage you all to ask your questions now when this opportunity is available. I see we have a gentleman to the left.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I actually come here for Mr. Jason Hayward. my organization is basically new. It's called Put Us to the Test Production. It's promoting young adults in the workplace. Now, history describes particular events that's occurred in this present generation. So, particular time they were born, and the PLP came into power. They have an issue that while the PLP has come into power, they consider this still a colonial system. They're getting a job, they're being put out by the police, their bikes taken from them. They work. They live in Somerset and they work in St. George's, so Hamilton Parish. Now they don't have no bike to ride on, and that kind. So what type of system do we have in Bermuda that takes away your bike? I need to get to work. So they have a problem, and we found out that we can't go to government because this particular issue that we're dealing with, it deals with the governor. We found out the governor is a black governor. We found out our generation never had a black governor. So we got a black government, and we still have a colonial system that puts us, it's basically not fair treatment.
All right, thank you very much, sir. You've just reached your time limit.
I really want to say that I'm only addressing that the only way we can get some solvents resolved, we have to go to the governor. We need to know how can I come through the government, through this particular PLP to address my issues with the governor of Bermuda.
Thank you very much, sir. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Thank you. On the left, another person. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm back. Totally unrelated to what I just spoke about. In terms of the STEAM curriculum that is mentioned, because I understand public school system is also doing their own revamp. Will the STEAM curriculum that you're talking about kind of continue from, or will it kind of be a separate kind of entity? Because I imagine it would be more efficient if it was a continuation, but there could be, other things that I'm not aware of in that sense.
So we're trying to promote careers in that particular area, and organizations that already do that training we're going to support. But there will be a direct alignment with what's happening within our school system and what's happening at the workforce development level or out of our school system level. We recognize that when we create these pathways, there needs to be continuums that start within our school system, but stretch beyond our school system into tertiary education and to other areas. And so what we're going to do is everything would be in alignment, and that was our aim in terms of the workforce development system, ensuring that we have strategies in place that begin within our school system, but put you on a pipeline or a pathway that extends outside of that school system and into your young adult life as well.
Okay, that's great to hear, because it kind of bleeds into, that STEAM question kind of bleeds into something that we also know, this is another comment, is that they have support in high school, or they have support in Westgate, and there's support in, out in the public, but those entities don't seem to work together. So you have, okay, you came out of high school, okay, now where do I go next? As opposed to, okay, I know exactly where to go next. You spoke about it, but it's great to hear that that's also, part of the whole experience. Thank you.
Just in addition to that, just wanted to say that workforce development also provides scholarships, and we will ensure that we're looking to support those individuals who are looking to further their education in the STEAM, but also want to make sure that we're supporting individuals who are interested in those careers as well.
Okay, thank you. I think we have another question on the right.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So my question here is actually for the Minister Hayward. In the pamphlet that was given out for the platform, I'm looking at goal number 4, where you spoke about asking other entrepreneurships and internships and increasing that within the school program. And you said that you were speaking with persons in the community at one point. So can you possibly name the businesses whom you have spoken with who are probably willing to take on this entrepreneurship and internship programs?
I do a number of engagement in my role as the minister responsible for economy and labor with businesses, mainly in IB, as it pertains to internships and the level of funding that they're providing for both scholarships and internships. And we've seen that level expand over year, and they have continued to commit to funding in that level. Additional to that, they've continued, or they've pledged additional funding to support strategies that are featured within a youth employment strategy. And so as we speak about these things, we currently get positive engagement from that particular lens. In the midst of the pandemic, we rolled out the National Reemployment Strategy. At that point in time, we were meeting with specific industry groups, whether it be hospitality employers, employers in the cleaning sector, employers in landscaping, employers in the construction sector, all had a willingness to take on more commuting employees during that particular time and run specific programs. We did run a cleaning program, which was in partnership with one of the local cleaning companies. And these are the type of employee engagements that we need, where we continue to talk to industry. We worked with employment agencies themselves in terms of having a better appreciation of the work that they do and desire to get more Bermudians into the workforce. And so we had networking events done at that particular level. And so I believe that there is an appetite to support our youth with getting access to opportunities. The government hasn't done the best job with engaging those employers the way in which we should. Part of the action plans of this strategy would be that level of employer engagement, so that we build partnerships and so that we have sustainable programs that are adequately funded that provide the outcomes that we desire.
Thank you, Minister. We have a question up on the left. Gentlemen?
Good evening, all. My question is, how soon will these plans be put into play, and I guess what sort of sustainability for the long run do you have? And what I mean by that is we get a lot of people that come into these programs and they learn all this good stuff and they become very successful, and they may even be the best in their trade. But when it comes time for them to pass that information on to the next generation, if you're not an educator, it's not easy to do, because you may know everything, but with no structure of putting it across to the next person, it just gets lost in time. And I find that to be a shame, because like me, I'm not the best in my trade, but at the same time, I've had so much experience as far as educating that when I went in and decided to take a management course, I said from the get-go, I'm not taking this management course to be a manager. I'm taking this course because I like to be an educator, and that's where my passion is. So I get the bigger picture of setting up signature schools and getting kids from the high school level into something and guiding them all the way into their career. But I haven't heard too much about, like, well, who's going to take up the mantle in the long run, sort of thing. And also, like, I've lost so many, I want to say, summer students along the way that haven't been retained at my place of employment, and now we're struggling with replenishing our employees. Sorry.
That's excellent comments, and the programs that typically do that is us better support and train the trainer programs, empowering employers so that they can become trainers, so that they can pass on the skill sets to the next generation. We have a number of employers who want to engage in apprenticeship programs, but don't have the skill set or the capability to provide that level of instructional direction, but can build that particular skill set. And so we will look into running trainer courses and things of that nature so that persons are better equipped in terms of running structured apprenticeship and training programs.
Thank you. We have a question on the right. Okay, I'm sorry, on the left, the gentleman, go ahead.
Good evening, Minister Hayward and Department of Workforce Development and the BDC. I have a question regarding, or I guess kind of asking for information on the Goal 9, Strategic Initiative 16, and also under Livable Wages Initiative number 15. Not exactly a cohesive kind of question, but my general inquiry is with the cost of living continuing to go up in the island and mortgages and rates increasing, as well as loans becoming increasingly more expensive. And as made by report, some of the youth are about $30,000 to $40,000 in their salaries per year. How does that tie in with Bermuda's kind of ongoing population maintenance rate, and also kind of stagnation of population growth? So, for example, I'm talking about, not sure if this is in the report, but say more Bermudian families, more people in Bermuda, more young people being able to support and create a family, especially if housing costs and rent are either prohibitive with their current salaries, say 60 to 80,000 a year, to either have savings or have a good, stable size house where they can raise a family, either potentially by themselves or with someone else. I guess, does the government have any statistics about how much of the youth is currently with their living with their parents, or also if there's any kind of plans to maybe initiatives or incentivize, young adults who have careers to establish a family in Bermuda or establish some sort of move out their houses and, live alone, sort of independence kind of scheme?
I would approach the question or the set of questions from this angle. We have an aging population that will depend on a strong working population to support the economy and to support future economic growth of Bermuda. If we want to have a flourishing working population, we need to ensure that we retain our talent on our island. We need to ensure that our young persons make a decision to return back home. We then explore the factors that are barriers to that person or prohibits that individual from making that decision. And part of it is what you address in terms of the cost of living. Over the next few weeks, you will hear part of the government strategy as we try to tackle the cost of living as best as possible. But you will also see where we're trying to expand as much opportunities as possible for our young persons as well. And through this strategy, it is a directed strategy targeted to a specific group of persons, which is our young persons in Bermuda, to ensure that we provide the support so that they can get gainful employment, which will better help them to enjoy a decent quality of life in Bermuda. And so there is work that needs to be done. Part of that is progressing some sort of statutory minimum wage rate for persons in entry-level jobs. But there's a continuum of things that we need to do. And I think over the next few weeks, we heard things about the cost of living. The cost of living in Bermuda has been high for decades. We've been one of the highest jurisdictions in the world, the highest cost jurisdictions in the world to live. But that's not sustainable. And so we need to find sustainable solutions, and we will work to find those solutions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We are down to the last 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is, those that have questions left, my colleagues have cards. You can give one to them, please, if you will. And then you can write down the question, and then we will answer it at the end of this session. And I will give the opportunity to the panel to have closing remarks, starting with Ms. Smith.
If anybody does have questions and address to me, I'll be happy to stick around and handle those questions after. But what I will generally say is that this government is committed to providing solutions to the problems that we face in terms of youth unemployment. This is a concerted effort that we're putting forward to support the young people within our community. We will develop action plans in alignment with this particular strategy to ensure that we are executing in an effective manner, and we will dedicate resources to this particular area. What we do here is that there are a number of other organizations and agencies within the community that aim to do this same thing, which is support our young persons and put them on pathways to success. And we will be open to partnering with those individuals. This week or next week, you would also hear an announcement where we're expanding our summer employment program. And so we will put out another announcement for young Bermudans to take advantage of our summer employment program. And so we'll be putting additional funding in that particular area to support our young persons in that. And that is directly in alignment with our youth employment strategy, creating and expanding opportunities for our young persons. So I'm encouraged that we have a plan. It's my responsibility to ensure that the plan gets executed on. And we will work together with our internal and external stakeholders to execute on the strategy that we do have in place. Malika?
Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening, and for those of you who are tuned in live through social media. Again, I want to encourage those who need support, who are looking to hone some of their skill sets, to please come and see us at the Department of Workforce Development. We are there to support you. We want to make sure that you are empowered to go out there and get the career that you deserve and that you want. And we also will hold you accountable to do the things that you need to do to be successful. So tough love is what will happen, but just know that you have a support and a partner in workforce development as you embark on your career journey.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. On behalf of Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, I just want to reiterate that entrepreneurship is a viable career choice. And sometimes people come to that pathway not of their own, choice. Sometimes they become necessity entrepreneurs, and that is fine too. Today is that BEDC will be able to support you in your entire journey, from ideation, from validating that idea, right through to implementation, growth, sustainability, and then exit if that is your choice. And so we have capacity for more young people to look at entrepreneurship as a viable career choice. Our doors are always open. Please take time to come and see us. We have our business card at the back, and we also have some swags. So thank you. Look forward to hearing from each and every one of you.
Thank you very much. I want to take this moment to thank the BEDC Executive Director, Ms. Erika Smith, the Department of Workforce Development Director, Ms. Malika Cartwright, and of course, the Minister of Economy and Labor, Minister Hayward. And I also want to thank all of you, the members of the public, for joining us here today, and thank my colleagues from CITV, as well as all the technical staff for putting on this show. Without you, this would not be possible. And I wish everyone a good evening and a good night. Thank you.